I know what you really, really want. You want to hear a story, but not any story, an interesting one. You want a great adventure, blood, story
that goes over generations.
but isn't too long and complicated. And above all, you want to hear about art. Well, you better sit down then, because I've got that story for you today. And the best part of this story is the art part, because it's a mix of Italian neoclassicism with traditional Chinese brushwork. And just look at the fish. I think it's like one of the best representations of what I will be talking about, because this looks like a traditional Chinese painting, right? But with that splash of realistic neoclassicism. That's why those fish look so realistic there, even though the whole painting kind of looks flattish because there's no second or third plan, but I still think it's really, really awesome. Okay, but let's move to our hero of today's story. Giuseppe Castiglione was an artist and Jesuit missionary. I usually don't mention these things, but this is quite important in that story. So, Giuseppe was born in 1688 in Milan, in today's Italy. He became a painter and also a missionary. And because he was a missionary, in 1715, in August, he was sent to China as a missionary.
And he was sent to Macau. But quickly, he was noticed for his incredible talents, and he was
brought to Beijing by Emperor Kangxi so the Giuseppe could serve as a court painter. During his years in China, he learned Chinese and he also changed his name to Chinese. Lang Shining? I don't know, I'm gonna stick with Giuseppe. And Kangxi was so impressed by Giuseppe's artworks, he basically employed him for the rest of his reign. His grandson at the time, Xianglong, loved to watch Giuseppe paint as a kid. Like he did that all the time. Later, when Kangxi died, his son, Yang Zedong, took the power. And he basically made Giuseppe more than just a court painter. He loved European arts. He was going to different European workshops in China. During his reign, I think Giuseppe became kind of like famous and he started to paint more and more everyday things.
And apparently he was considered like the best artist at the time in China because of the realism he was presenting. So I'm not really surprised because he good. But later, when Yang Zedong died,
Xianglong took power. He was in really good relationship with Giuseppe as he loved looking at him painting when he was a child. And also, he was serving his grandfather and father and now him, and everybody loved him. Everybody was amazed by his style. But during the Xianglong reign, there was a little bit of controversy within the church itself. And it's called Chinese rites controversy. And more or less, it was about the views on Chinese beliefs by Catholics. So, of course, the Rome wanted to Inquisition their asses in China and just convert them into Christianity because they thought that the Chinese beliefs are just like bullshit and voodoo shit, which honestly, both of them are, but apparently some of the missionaries didn't really agree with the Rome, especially Jesuits, which Giuseppe was one of them. They thought that some of the Chinese beliefs are compatible with Christianity to some extent and thus should be tolerated.
I'm pretty sure our Giuseppe was a huge advocate for that because he was also learning a lot of Chinese tradition. I mean, he changed his name to Chinese for sake.
But the Rome was like, nah, dude, we just should conquer them and make them Christians. And all of this controversy had its price. So the Xianglong got pissed off a little bit and started persecuting Christians, missionaries in China. And when Giuseppe heard about this, he was like, yo, I got this. Xianglong is my best friend. We're hanging out. I know him forever. He knows me forever. I can talk with him. So he went to plead to save Christians.
Like, please, dude, we're friends. Don't kill Christians. Come on. Please, please, please. May they be spread.
But the Xianglong didn't like that idea. He basically said, fuck off and paint. I mean, it was probably more like, well, we have our differences, stay in your lane type of shit. But I like to imagine he said f and paint. Okay, okay. He did take some action, alleviate. But despite that, Xianglong were like, okay, we're gonna chill out a little bit with the prosecution thing. And he apparently like saved few friends of Giuseppe or something like that. But well, others weren't so lucky, let's say. And Giuseppe was even appointed by Xianglong as administrator of the imperial parks and vice president of the six boards, which is like the highest position ever held by Jesuit in China. And Xianglong was the last emperor that Giuseppe served for, making him work for whole 3 generations of Qin dynasty in China for 51 years. He never came back to Europe. He lived for the rest of his life in China.
It's spring again, and the yard is full of tiny flowers.
Let's start with aquatic plants and fish. You know that I love proper names for stuff, so there we go. Because look at this. These fishes are so goddamn realistic. Like, you can almost feel that they are slimy. And I really like the birds he painted.
Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what? Brian, don't!
Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. But bird, well, a bird, bird, bird.
Colorful spring. There are 2 birds here, and I really love the birds here. Like, you can really see and feel the featherness of the feathers here. Like, it really feels soft and fluffy. He also painted a landscape with 100 horses. And the name of the painting, also perfect, is called 100 Horses in a Landscape. But me being me, I doubted it. So I started counting the horses. And yeah, I don't know why I did that. But yeah, there is 100 horses there. It might not look like it at the first glance, but yeah, there's definitely 100 horses there. And this painting, holy shit, this is big. Its height sits at around 1 meter and width is almost 8 meters. Like, holy smokes, this is huge, dude. There's nature stuff. Like, I really like his still natures and nature in general. Cranes under the shadow of flowers. Again, another really, really beautiful piece with fluffy feathers. Perfect flowers there. Oh, there are even 2 little kids there. Damn, I love that stuff. Portrait of Lady Hoya. I like this painting because, like, I don't know, I feel like her face is like, you can tell that she's happy that she's being painted. Like, for me, her face is saying like, yeah, I'm being painted by a famous artist. That's so cool. I'm gonna live forever, you know? Another bird. Peacock spread its tail. This painting, it's so trippy, especially if you zoom in onto like the feathers here. Damn, that's what I like. Time-telling plant from the west. That's a really interesting name. And painting is like, I feel like he just saw this pot somewhere and he was like, damn, that's a nice pot and plant. I better paint that shit. He grabbed the paper or whatever the hell he was painting on and he was like, fuck, dude, let's paint that shit. And I understand that because I do have these feelings sometimes. And you have these weird feelings sometimes either. Don't worry, you're not crazy. I mean, probably you are a little bit, but in a good way, you know? In an artistic way. I don't know if it's a good way, but it's an artistic way though. So I don't know, at least something. White ape, which is like, if you didn't saw the painting and just saw the title, you would think it's just an average European. But in fact, no, it's just a monkey. And I love the face of the monkey here. Because the monkey is like, what the fuck's happening? It kind of looks like this is like a picture of it. Like it just got stung with the flash from the camera and just froze for a second there. But no, it's a painting. And of course, lots and lots of beautiful details around there. I mean, maybe not that beautiful, but they're good. You can see the mixing. Like the monkey is realistic, as neoclassicist would paint. But also, if you look at the tree bark here, or at the grass, you can see traditional Chinese like ink work, which is really, really dope. And of course, topping that with those sweet Chinese characters here and there on every piece. And you got yourself something looking really cool. I gotta admit that. Really check out his flowers. Like, I'm not telling you that because I'm too lazy to show you. I am telling you that because you can find really high quality paintings on your own and you can stare at them for hours in the highest detail, which I really like to do. Like, I really love to see brushwork. Like, for example, in this flower here, we can see that he did like this, like with the brush. Like, I know precisely what his hand was doing. Okay, that came out wrong, but you know what I mean. While he was painting this, it's like really smooth out. So I presume it's like oil-based paint. And of course, emperors. If you really want to look at like the crazy amount of detail, check out his painting of Xianglong, emperor. The longer you look at this painting, the more detail you see each goddamn time. The emperor here is like, sup dude, look at my drip. The chair, amazing work. You can really see all the detail in the handrails here, on the cushions. The legs of it are a dragon puking out a leg, standing on a ball. Okay, that sounds weirder than it actually is. But what's the craziest thing about this painting? Look at the goddamn carpet. This thing is fluffy. Like, at the first glance, from like far away, I thought it's just like flat pattern, similar to like on clothes. But the clothes are silk, so it makes sense. But the carpet, it has millions of tiny details suggesting its softness. That crazy amount of detail, I could just look at this carpet forever. Like, I don't know if you sometimes get that feeling, but I find the most random pieces on the artwork the most interesting. And one of my favorite paintings ever, I unfortunately lost its name, but it's basically just a paint on a wall that just like cracked. But this painting is so beautiful, and I get the same vibe from this carpet here. Even though everything's detailed, like you can see the sole of the shoe and the goddamn diamonds everywhere. But yeah, quite impressive stuff and quite cool artist. I want to leave you at that. Go check Giuseppe Castiglione out online shining. And if you also find the most random parts of paintings the most interesting, let me know in the comments. I want to know your favorite random thing on a painting. Because why the not? And subscribe for the same reason. And yeah, if you do have any agenda to push, fuck off and paint.